Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful, crisp morning as we dive deep into the latest dramatic developments unfolding in Genoa City. The landscape of our favorite town is shifting rapidly, and the emotional stakes have never been higher for the residents we have come to know so well. Let us immediately explore the turbulent events that are about to change everything. Genoa City is currently a pressure cooker of unresolved trauma, dangerous liaisons, and explosive secrets, with Matt Clark standing at the very epicenter of the impending devastation. Despite his highly publicized and incredibly volatile romantic entanglement with Phyllis Summers, Matt harbors a deeply unsettling and manipulative desire to rewrite his dark history with his former victim, Sienna. Matt is a man who thrives on control and psychological dominance, and while Phyllis offers him a chaotic, fiercely protective shield against the Newman family's wrath, Sienna represents an unfinished chapter of his predatory past. He operates under the twisted delusion that he can achieve some form of absolution by forcing a fresh start with the woman he previously subjected to immense emotional and psychological torment. This insidious quest for redemption is not born out of genuine remorse, but rather a narcissistic need to prove to himself and the world that he is no longer the monster everyone knows him to be. He meticulously crafts a facade of vulnerability, hoping to seamlessly transition from Sienna's abuser to her trusted confidant, completely disregarding the catastrophic emotional damage this pursuit will inevitably inflict upon everyone involved. The true tragedy of this situation lies in Sienna Bacall's fragile emotional state and her terrifying susceptibility to Matt's calculated manipulation. After enduring a horrific public confrontation with a blindingly jealous Phyllis Summers at a high society gala, one would expect Sienna to sever all ties with the man who brought such humiliation to her doorstep. Instead, the toxic nostalgia and the lingering psychological chains of her past relationship with Matt begin to cloud her judgment in the most dangerous way possible. Sienna finds herself inexplicably drawn into Matt's web of deceit, slowly beginning to entertain the perilous thought that his sweeping declarations of change might actually hold a shred of truth. She rationalizes his behavior, desperately wanting to believe that the monster who haunted her nightmares has miraculously transformed into a misunderstood man seeking genuine forgiveness. This profound vulnerability is a testament to the enduring scars of psychological abuse, illustrating how easily a victim can be manipulated into offering grace to their tormentor when presented with a carefully constructed illusion of remorse. As Sienna's internal defenses crumble, she makes a fatal miscalculation that will ultimately seal her tragic fate and ignite a devastating chain reaction. Convinced that Matt is making a sincere effort to reform his life, she begins to view her current partner, Newman, not as a fierce protector, but as an unreasonable obstacle to Matt's supposed redemption. Sienna is acutely aware of Noah's absolute, unyielding hatred for Matt, knowing full well that the young Newman heir is completely dedicated to eradicating Matt from Genoa City by any means necessary. In a shocking display of misplaced loyalty, Sienna contemplates warning her former abuser about Noah's relentless vendetta. She believes she is preventing unnecessary conflict, entirely oblivious to the fact that she is actively betraying the man who has stood by her side and fiercely defended her honor. This impending betrayal highlights the terrifying power Matt still holds over her psyche, proving that even without overt threats, he can effortlessly turn Sienna into a pawn in his dangerous game against the Newman legacy. Meanwhile, Newman is operating on a completely different frequency, driven by a primal, protective instinct inherited directly from his formidable grandfather, Victor Newman. Noah sees right through the charming veneer that Matt Clark so effortlessly projects to the rest of the world. He recognizes the predatory calculation in Matt's eyes and understands that a man capable of such profound cruelty does not simply change his stripes overnight. Noah is consumed by a sickening dread, entirely convinced that Matt's presence in Genoa City is a ticking time bomb that will inevitably detonate and destroy everything Sienna has worked so hard to rebuild. The young Newman feels an overwhelming, almost suffocating burden of responsibility to shield Sienna from this impending disaster, especially since she seems so tragically determined to walk straight back into the lion's den. Noah's protective nature morphs into a hyper-vigilant obsession, fueling his absolute determination to force Matt out of town before the manipulative criminal can sink his claws back into Sienna's fragile heart. Desperate for guidance and a safe harbor to vent his escalating anxieties, Noah seeks out the comforting presence of his mother, Sharon Rosales. In the quiet, familiar sanctity of Crimson Lights, Noah completely unburdens his soul, detailing the terrifying reality of Sienna's blinding naivety. He explains to Sharon how Sienna has somehow convinced herself that Matt has genuinely changed, and he meticulously outlines the catastrophic risks associated with her dangerous delusion. Noah's voice is laced with a potent mixture of profound heartbreak and simmering rage as he articulates his absolute conviction that Matt must be permanently removed from the equation. He views himself as the last line of defense, the only person in Genoa City willing to do whatever it takes to protect Sienna from her own destructive choices. Sharon listens with the deep, empathetic patience of a mother who has weathered countless storms, recognizing the heavy emotional toll this relentless vigilance is taking on her son's spirit. It is during this deeply emotional and vulnerable conversation that Sharon makes a heartbreaking revelation that completely shifts the foundation of Noah's world. With a heavy heart and tears glistening in her eyes, she informs Noah that his father, Nick Newman, has quietly entered a specialized rehabilitation facility to battle a severe, spiraling addiction. The news hits Noah with the force of a physical blow, shattering the long-held illusion of his father's invincible strength. For months, Nick has been buckling under the crushing weight of relentless family drama, the catastrophic legal battles with Phyllis Summers, and the suffocating stress of watching his parents' marriage implode. The realization that his father, the man who always stood as the unwavering moral pillar of the Newman family, has succumbed to the dark, chaotic pull of substance abuse, leaves Noah reeling in a state of profound shock, sorrow, and terrifying uncertainty. As the devastating reality of Nick's downfall settles over him, Noah begins to piece together the tragic timeline of his father's silent suffering. He reflects on the recent weeks, recognizing the subtle, terrifying signs of Nick's unraveling, the erratic behavior, the deep emotional withdrawal, and the desperate, futile attempts to maintain control over a life that was rapidly spinning out of control. Noah understands that the toxic warfare surrounding Phyllis, the terrifying threat posed by Matt Clark, and the psychological torment inflicted by Victor upon Nikki created a perfect storm of unbearable pressure that ultimately broke his father's spirit. Despite the agonizing pain of this revelation, Noah finds a strange, somber comfort in the fact that Nick finally recognized his own devastating limitations and sought the professional help he so desperately needed to survive. Together in the quiet coffee house, Noah and Sharon share a profound moment of unified grief and reluctant acceptance. They mutually agree that the rehabilitation center is the absolute best, and perhaps the only, sanctuary for Nick at this critical juncture in his life. Sharon gently reminds Noah that addiction is a relentless, unforgiving disease that does not discriminate, and that Nick's decision to step away and heal is an act of immense courage, not a sign of weakness. This shared understanding fortifies the bond between mother and son, providing Noah with a crucial anchor of emotional support amidst the swirling chaos of his personal life. He realizes that while he cannot fix his father's struggles, he can honor Nick's battle by remaining strong and resolute in his own fight to protect the people he loves from the darkness encroaching upon their lives. Just as the heavy weight of his father's situation threatens to pull him under, Noah receives a sudden, miraculous beacon of hope that cuts through the suffocating despair. Word reaches him that his grandmother, Nikki Newman, has finally regained her sight after a terrifying and prolonged period of agonizing blindness. The news of Nikki's recovery washes over Noah like a healing wave, filling his heart with immense joy and a desperately needed renewed sense of optimism. Nikki's triumph over the physical darkness that threatened to permanently consume her serves as a powerful, symbolic reminder to Noah that even the most insurmountable obstacles can be conquered. If the resilient matriarch of the Newman family can claw her way back to the light, then Noah believes he possesses the strength to eradicate the toxic darkness that Matt Clark has brought into his life. Emboldened by his grandmother's miraculous recovery, and fiercely determined to prevent his own life from mirroring the tragic collapse of his father's, Noah fully steps into the role of the ruthless Newman protector. He understands that he can no longer rely on the authorities or the distracted elders of his family to handle the threat. He must take matters entirely into his own hands. Noah begins to meticulously shadow Sienna's movements, transforming from a concerned partner into a silent, calculating sentinel lurking in the shadows of Genoa City. The atmospheric tension in the city feels almost palpable as Noah navigates the darkened streets, his senses heightened and his heart pounding with a sickening mixture of dread and anticipation. He is hunting for the truth, terrified of what he might find, yet absolutely resolute in his mission to uncover the depth of Sienna's deception. Noah's worst, most agonizing fears are brutally realized on a chilling moonlit night when he spots the unmistakable silhouette of Matt Clark lurking near Sienna's vicinity. The air grows thick, with an oppressive silence as Noah watches from a concealed vantage point, his breath catching painfully in his throat. He observes as Sienna emerges, not with the defensive, guarded posture of a woman confronting her abuser, but with a hesitant, tragically familiar compliance. The secret rendezvous unfolds before Noah's eyes like a slow-motion nightmare, every whispered word and shared glance driving a jagged stake deeper into his shattered heart. This is no longer merely a suspicion or a paranoid delusion. It is a profound, undeniable betrayal playing out in the cold, unforgiving light of reality, destroying everything Noah believed about his relationship. The psychological impact of witnessing this clandestine meeting is absolutely catastrophic for Noah. Every shred of trust, every beautiful memory, and every ounce of hope he had invested in his relationship with Sienna disintegrates into ash in that single, devastating moment. He realizes, with sickening clarity, that Sienna has not only succumbed to Matt's manipulative charms, but has actively chosen to deceive the man who has fought tirelessly to protect her. Noah's hands tremble violently as he raises his phone, his camera lens capturing the undeniable proof of their ongoing connection. He documents every agonizing second of their interaction, building an irrefutable arsenal of evidence that will soon serve as the foundation for his impending, merciless retaliation against the woman who broke his heart and the man who orchestrated it all. As Noah stands in the shadows, clutching the damning evidence that confirms his absolute worst fears, a profound and terrifying transformation takes place within his soul. The compassionate, understanding boyfriend is entirely consumed by the cold, calculating, and merciless spirit of the Newman bloodline. The betrayal has shattered his final shred of restraint, completely obliterating any lingering hesitation or desire for a peaceful resolution. He is no longer interested in simply warning Matt to leave town. He is preparing to orchestrate a catastrophic, life-destroying retaliation that will scorch the earth and leave no survivors in its wake. The young Newman heir is now a highly dangerous, unpredictable force of nature, standing on the precipice of a dark turning point, ready to unleash a wave of apocalyptic vengeance that will forever alter the landscape of Genoa City and leave his enemies begging for a mercy he is no longer capable of giving.